What's up, guys? I need to set up a number 5 for smoothing. I gave my smoothing 5 to my nephew because I have this Masters and Wards, but I've never even touched it since I bought it. It's really cool. So this is rosewood, but the bottom is the sapwood, so it's two-toned on the tote. But I figured since I'm working on this, I'll give you a run through of how to do it. First, we want to make sure that the bottom's flat. So first, I'm gonna mark it with a marker, kind of like you would while planing wood. Then I'm going to take it to a sander. I'm going to run it for a little bit and see what wears away. I've got pressure on the back, light pressure on the front. Like, you want pressure, but you don't want to tweak it or anything. I've got the blade retracted up into the body, but I want this clamped down because you want the pressure on it because it actually flexes the body of the plane. And I'm taking even, controlled strokes, nice and slow with it. Make sure your weight's centered. You can twist on this body. I'm starting to see already that I've got a hollow going through here. I've got a lot of work to do on the bottom of this. I'm using 80 grit sandpaper. It's starting to go away, but we still got a ways to go. You want a flat surface to glue your tape to. Your table saw top will work, a piece of melamine, any like cabinet grade shelving, as long as it's not warped and is in good shape. All right, guys, I've got the sole flat. Now the next thing to work on is the inside. Start with the blade. Since this is out, you'll notice I had to go through a couple things of sandpaper. It took me about 20 minutes to flatten this out. It's a lot of work, but you can expect to have to do that with a new plane too, unless you're spending like $400 on a plane. Like that money, the extra money you're spending is the refinement of the plane. So, good indicator of a quality plane is that the lever cap will fit in the chip breaker screw. We got a lot of rust, so the first thing I'm going to do is start cleaning this off. Okay, just like on a chisel or any other blade, you want this section right through here to be perfectly flat. So I'm just going to take it to the edge here and start to work it. Woo! There's some funkiness going on in this one, but right through there is perfect. So I think I'm just going to roll with this for the sake of time. Next thing we want to do is sort out this end. We want to make sure that we got a 20-degree bevel, which it's looking good, and that it's square. It's out a tiny bit. So we'll straighten that out. You can either take it to a belt grinder or do it the old-fashioned way. This is what we're going to do here.
See that? That's
Pretty,
recording.
huh? I've got the iron square and sharp. It's ready for polish. Well, it's not like polished sharp, but it's ready for polishing. But before that, while I still have this set out, I want to make sure that the chip breaker seats to the blade perfectly. The chip breaker helps curl up your shavings and reduce tear out. Kind of makes it so it doesn't bog deep down and get pushed down in. If that makes any sense, it doesn't quite to me, but it's important. Um, but if there's any gap whatsoever, the chip will go up in there and it's going to jam up your plane. Um, there's a little bump right here, and if you look up into the light, you can see if there's any light shining through it. And I have a little bit, not much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it down at an angle like this. I'm going to work it flat across this. You don't want to go straight down. You want to have that angle. It kind of acts as another blade that slices through too. Once again, I will hold it up to the light. Still a little high on this side. Okay, that looks good. All right, so on a plane or a chisel blade, you have your primary bevel. That's a lot of area to have to grind away every single time you want to sharpen your blade. So what you do is you grind away what's called a secondary bevel, and that gives you just that much area that you have to grind. You can do that either with a guide, or if you freehand do it, you actually end up with a curved blade instead of two radiuses, or not radiuses, two chamfers or bevels. I freehand sharpen just because I can't be bothered to set up the guide every single time. So as I polish this, I'm also going to be rolling to one edge, if that makes sense. So I'll work one edge like this and then start to work it back down, and the same with the other side. And that's gonna camber my blade, put a little curve on it, because you don't want the corners digging into your work. You'll have hard edges. You want the center to cut in and the edges to kind of feather off. So I'm working the bottom, and freehand, I'm gonna start at what I want my secondary bevel to be, and as I push through, I'm going to drop down. I'm only working halfway because these are two different grits, so don't let that confuse you. Now I'm working my corner, and I start to slowly drop down. Same on this side. Get to the corner, go about like 10, and then go about like 7, and then go about like 5, and then work the center. And then you just keep this going, and you're going to work until you can feel your burr start to form around, because you're trying to work the material away, and it's going to work to the very point and then start to work its way around to the edge. Once you feel a burr with your fingernail across that, you can take it to the next grit and work that burr off and repeat the process. But go until you feel a burr across the entire thing, otherwise you're not sharp yet. This will apply for chisels or most anything that you sharpen with a one-sided bevel. Good news is this is some really good iron, because it's hard to get a burr on it. Okay, now I'm going to knock the burr off. It only takes a couple passes, and then I'm going to keep working. Lastly, we're going to move to the strop. I have to throw on some stropping compound. I work the edge off the side. That way there's nothing, that way it's flat. And you're going to go about 30 passes. And then you'll switch to the other side and do 30 more. For good measure, and it's over redundant, but I like to do about 10 more passes each side. Make sure all that burrs off. I've got the blade set about a 1/16 away from the chip breaker. You can see the slight camber, how it starts to move in towards the chip breaker on the sides. Now we're going to adjust the frog. On back, any model made around, I think, around roughly 1910, 1920 and on is going to have this. This adjusts the frog forward and back. This is the adjustment for your blade in and out. And these two screws in here will loosen the whole frog. This plane was well cleaned up when I bought it. It just needed some fine tuning. So I'm going to take this off and just kind of evaluate what's going on underneath because I've never looked at it. So it all looks very clean. The Japanning on this is very good. I think just a little cleanup and I'll throw it back in and then just get everything set up square because it was sitting crooked in here. If you have rust on these, 3-in-1 oil and some light grit sandpaper will clean it right up. And I mean, I recommend 3-in-1 to maintain it. Keep it on all your parts, you know, all your moving parts especially. Keep 3-in-1 on so they don't rust up on you. I mean, everything on this, like I said, is in really good shape. For $15, this is like a fantastic buy. So it looks like this isn't seating quite right. I might have to take this post down. I'm going to get some calipers, or actually, I'll just use my square. That'll be accurate enough. Yeah, so this post right here is sitting a little bit higher than this post right here. So I'm actually going to remove the tote and knob, and I'm going to take a file to this and get it down a little bit. When you run a file, start flat, keep flat, and do straight strokes. I can only take little passes because of this, but being careful not to hit the side or this back. This back's not as important, but I don't want to take the Japanning off. There we go, that gap's gone now. It looks like it's already sitting, I remember adjusting this before. It looks like it's already sitting pretty good, so I'm just going to throw the screws back in. Yeah, so the blade seems to be sitting flat. It's close to the mouth. I'm actually pretty happy with where it's sitting. I'm going to put the tote and knob back on and we'll test it out. see how it's thick in the middle, and then you can see the light shine better on both sides. And see how it starts to like feather and rip away on each side? That's what that cambered blade does. It makes it so that it digs deeper right in the center, and then it starts to lift out on the edges so you don't dig in too far. And then you get this crystal clear surface. Look at that. Shine already, no finish.